Hello and welcome back to another discussion video where this is again repeating something of a video that I made last year where it was one video where I talked about is streaming dying and is physical media dying. This year I kind of split them into two where about 10 days ago I made a video at the beginning of the month talking about is physical media dying. I went on a 20-minute discussion about that, and in today's video I'm going to be doing the same but for streaming services. And the main reason what spawned me to actually do this video in the first place is at the start of January, one of the Twitter or X accounts that I follow called Culture Crave tweeted out a interesting thing. Now, do take this with the grainiest of salts because I don't know how accurate it actually is, but according to them and according to a source that they linked, that Americans spent 23% less on streaming services in 2024. I find that very, very interesting. And so, of course, I'm after listing out a few bullet points on why I think that is. And so that's basically what I'm going to discuss. So as always, if you have any insight on what you would like to add in the discussion, do comment down below. And so I think the main reason why I think 23% of Americans now, we're just going to talk about America here. We're not going to talk about, Europe, Australia, those demographics. We're just going to solely focus on America for this. I think the main reason why a lot of Americans are canceling or not dealing with streaming services for last year is because of the constant price hikes. We've constantly seen every different streaming service like Disney, Netflix, Hulu, Max constantly put up their pricing to the point where now it's just people are just seeing that it's just not affordable to keep paying for the monthly service or the yearly service, because the cost of living does have unfortunately has to be taken into consideration for this, because we are in a cost of living crisis and not everyone can afford multiple streaming services. So a lot of people are just going to sit down, look at what they are subscribed to, what they watch from those, and a lot of streaming services that they just don't watch are going to get the ads. And that is something that I have mentioned in my Is Physical Media Dying video, because I've seen a lot of TikTokers before it got banned, because I'm recording this just prior to the TikTok ban happening, unlike with the Is Physical Media Dying part. But anyway, I've seen a lot of people, a lot of TikTok creators making videos about talking about how they're saving money from canceling a lot of their streaming services, going out to thrift shops, charity shops, that type of stuff to buy the physical DVD box sets of the shows that they would watch on a particular streaming service, just because it's so much cheaper. And with the way these companies are increasing their pricing is unsustainable. They're not making a lot of money. We do know this, that a lot of these streaming services have yet to actually turn a physical profit on this, on the whole model. And like I've been saying, I definitely do think we're going to see a crash soon, like the bubble popping, because everything needs to have its own streaming service now. Like I've mentioned before, Lionsgate, that company, that they have their own streaming service that nobody really talks about or knows about, because that's how bad it is. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain ones that are that have been around the longest that are there. They're not the sole focus of these companies, like the BBC iPlayer, like Channel 4, the All 4 player, the RTE player. These ones are just there for people, fans of particular shows that might have missed the episode as it was airing, and can go back on catch up to watch it. And yes, there will be ads on that, so obviously they're going to get money from that, from the ads, which is what led a lot of these streaming services to introduce ads into their for their streaming services. I'm not sure about Apple TV if they have brought in an ad based tier, but the likes of the one of the big shockers were Prime Video. They actually introduced an ad-based tier for certain people. Netflix obviously, the last few years has added in an ad-based tier, which is significantly cheaper than the non-ad-based one. And grant that they do claim that introducing ad-based tiers has worked, because some people are that don't want to spend the $20 a month just to get no ads, or fine with paying the 8 to 10 range to get maybe a couple of ads here and there. They're fine with that, and obviously because a lot of people are going to be like that, that's what has incentivized these other companies like Disney, to Prime themselves, to introduce these ad-based tiers, because they see one company be successful with it, and that's going to have a domino effect on these other companies following suit. Um, and that is also another reason why I do believe that we had that last year seen that decent amount of decline of people using streaming services. 23% of allegedly that didn't go for that. Constant price increases, the cost of living, and the ads would be a huge reason for that. And like I said, people watching other TikTok creators, canceling these subscriptions, going out, showing that you can still get these, physical box sets of, shows like Grey's Anatomy, Friends, The Office US, stuff like that. Because, as well, one of the key things is these streaming platforms tend to pull shows down. Like Netflix is the home of Friends, but then you might have like the US Office being jumped around from different streaming services to different streaming services, to like say Hulu to Max, and maybe other different streaming services as well, like Peacock, for example. That might be just a place where you can only watch this particular type of show. And it's just getting too much for a lot of these people, that it's just not feasible, especially now with the fact that, these streaming services are canceling a lot of people's favorite shows after 1 or 2 seasons. And anytime that happens, I do see a lot of people get very upset over that, because they're not giving these shows enough time to find the correct audience. Because it seems that with the likes of Netflix, Disney, and all that, if they put out a season and it doesn't do amazing numbers like they want it to be, like, with the likes of Stranger Things, Orange is the New Black, when that was the big Netflix flagship show, the Cobra Kai, for example, all those big TV shows that do mad numbers whenever a new season drops, compared to when, if they drop this season and it doesn't do as well, they just immediately drop it before they give it enough time to find the correct audience, which it is a shame, because it's not just Netflix that's done it. Disney, Paramount has done it to Star Trek and to other shows, like the iCarly reboot that got 3 seasons, and then just after the 3rd season came out, they cancelled it. That 90s show, what Netflix done, they cancelled that after the 2nd season, just as it was starting to find its footing. They immediately pulled the rug under it. And of course, they are going to start shopping these shows around. And I think the iCarly is getting a movie to wrap things up. I'm not 100% sure on that one. But, I do know that that 90 show is trying to shop it around for another streaming service to pick it up. That's what happened with Star Trek Prodigy, after Paramount cancelled it after the 1st season, midway through them working on the 2nd season. And then of course Netflix took it over, but Netflix hasn't greenlit a 3rd season yet. So maybe for First Contact Day this year, we'll get word of a 3rd season being greenlit, because I do follow some of the writers on X and Blue Sky. So I always keep an eye out, just because they do keep us updated on if they've heard anything about potentially being greenlit for a 3rd season. And yeah, it's basically all of those factors are the main reason why a lot of people just weren't interested in streaming services last year. And with the way things are, constantly going, the cost of living constantly increasing, the pricing of these streaming services constantly going up, even though they're already having record profits, but they keep increasing it to get more profit, and canceling a lot of people's favorite show. People are just going to get sick of it, and then we're going to have that bubble crash, just like what happened back in 1983 when with the great video game crash of 83. There was an oversaturation in the market between Atari, Coleco, the Intellivision, the Vectrex, the PC Engine, all those game consoles were out at the same time, and a lot of great games are being made, and so you had the crash. And as well, a lot of people are getting sick and tired of the 10 episode per season structure, and then having to wait, have the season come out. They will binge the entire 10 episodes, and then they might have to wait 2 or 3 years for a new season to come out. And a lot of people are getting sick of that. A lot of people are, being nostalgic for the way things were back in the day when a season would be 22 episodes. And then it'd only be a few months wait after that season wrapped up, a few months before the next season starts. Because I know writers are, TV show writers are the exact same. They would love for that to go back to that, because that means they have a lot more work. There's a lot more writers being hired, and granted, yes, there are going to be a lot more filler episodes in that 23 to 26 episode seasons, but that's still a lot more content coming out as quickly as within just a few months of the season ending, compared to what the model we're getting now, where I think, now I haven't watched the show personally, but Succession season 2 should have either come out by the time this video is out, or has been out for a while. I think that took a few years to come, like, as well, like the final season of Stranger Things, that's taken a few years to come out. What's the other one that was on the tip of my tongue that I've completely forgotten about? But you get the picture, you get the picture that a lot of these seasons, they drop an amazing first season, everyone keeps talking about it, and then because they're waiting 2 to 3 years, Euphoria, that's the other one that I was thinking of, that they're waiting 2 or 3 years to drop a new season, and then by that time the hype has already died down and not a lot of people are interested in it. And that means there's not going to be a lot more viewers happening, and then once these big streaming services see that, they're like, okay, people don't like this, let's just drop the axe on it and try again with another season, hope we strike gold. And that is just the unfortunate truth of it all. And that, in my opinion, is why we are starting to see that decline in streaming services. I haven't had a streaming service since I started collecting around nearly 4 years ago now. I mainly just watch what I can on physical, and if I want to, like, say, watch an episode of Doctor Who or what have you, as it's airing, I will go up, I will find a way. I'll either use a VPN to access BBC iPlayer to watch it there and then, so that way, I can get my review up, assuming that it is happening at, doing the same thing that they done last year with the midnight release. And then, or if not, then I'll just, like, say, go to a family member's house that still has stations, and I'll watch it there. They are great. I'm grateful that they do that for me. But yeah, that's that. Anyway, that is going to wrap this video up. Again, let me know what you thought about my thoughts on this in the comments down below, and please do share your own thoughts on this in the comments below. I would love to hear what you have to say, and yeah, I'll catch you all on the next upload.